Well, hello everybody. Thank you for joining us here on the Gnomon Twitch channel. Gnomon's very proud to be hosting the All-Star Artist Jams for the Lightbox Expo online weekend that's happening right now. So if you have just found your way here, not through Lightbox, definitely check it out. Lightbox Expo is a fantastic convention for artists, a conference for artists that was debuted last year at the Pasadena Convention Center right here in California. And they have continued to innovate ways to bring artists together by taking the entire thing online for this weekend. So definitely check out lightboxexpo.com. I think it's literally just $1. You can pay as little of it as $1 to register for the event and get access to all of the different live streams that are going to be happening. Gnomon is very happy to be hosting. We are a 3D art school in Hollywood. We specialize in training artists for careers in visual effects, games, and animation. We build 3D skill sets on top of foundational traditional art skills at Gnomon. And I'll be sharing with you a little bit later how you can get a discount on a class if you'd like to take one with us. But with that, guys, I just want to say my name's Adam. I not only work at Gnomon, I'm also a freelance concept artist. And it is my great pleasure to be hosting these amazing artists today on the Art Jam with you. As you can see, we are we're live in a cloud-based drawing program called Magma Studio, and it's very much like kind of a light version of Photoshop that you can draw with a ton of people collaboratively around the planet, which we're doing. And so with that, guys, I'd like to welcome all of our guest artists on the stream today and ask if you guys would take a moment just to mention your name and share a couple things about what you do as an artist. And there's no particular order. We'll just do it Wild West style. Whoever wants to jump in can start. Just not all at once. Everybody's so intent on what they're doing.
Not me.
All right. I'll go with the next window that I see. Limei, can we begin with you?
Sure.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Adam. I'm
Hi.
Limei. I'm a background designer working for TV animation, and I'm really happy to be in this event. And recently, I did a book with my friends Monchi and Hao called The New Cloud. If you guys are interested in, you can check out Artist Alley in Lightbox. Yeah.
Cool.
Really thank you for having me here.
Yeah, thank you for being here. All right, I'll call out the next window I see. Ben, would you mind introducing yourself?
I'm a senior concept artist and art director in the game and film industry for, I guess, the past 12 years now. I'm currently working on Halo Infinite and working on my own graphic novel and turning that into kind of like a high-end CG thing with some really talented friends.
Very cool. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for being here. All right. I'm going to need to coax all of you out of the open, aren't I? Okay.
Yeah.
So,
oh, are we supposed to go ahead?
oh, you just
I thought
go
we were
ahead and jump
waiting.
in. No. It's pretty casual. This is pretty casual times. Feel free to just jump in and introduce yourself. Yeah.
Okay, I'll go so that way
Okay.
you don't have to call the next one. Hey, I'm if you see my little tag, it's called Pepper Fernandez, but my name is Andrea Fernandez. And I'm an art director for series animation. Currently, I'm at Netflix art directing the Cuphead show.
Cool.
Oh.
Welcome.
Thank you.
I'll introduce myself. I'm John Burton, and I live in two worlds. I'm for the last few decades, I was a fine artist showing in museums and galleries, and now I'm a production designer working on a feature film. Feature animation coming out in a year and a half. So.
Very cool.
Cool.
Yeah, welcome.
Awesome.
I guess I'll jump in. My name is Laurel Austin. I have worked in the games industry for the past decade or so, and I've been a concept artist and an illustrator doing sort of marketing and key art and that kind of stuff. Worked for Blizzard Entertainment for the last 9 years, so that's good fun.
Wonderful. Thanks for being here. looking to see. There's
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
I knew I was going to do that. I'm Natalie Hall. I'm a tattoo artist and sometimes concept artist, sometimes illustrator. And I'm working in Los Angeles for the last 8 years, doing lots of random jobs.
Awesome. Welcome, Natalie.
Hey there, I'm Trevor Spencer. I think my little button would say Alkemy Studio, which is my wife's and my little studio. Currently, I'm doing Viz Dev, background design on DC Superhero Girls at WB.
Awesome.
I'm Mia Araujo. I'm an independent traditional artist, so this is all very new to me. I've actually been working a lot more digitally this week with this program than I have my whole life.
Cool.
But yeah, writing and illustrating my own illustrated novel that's based on Alice in Wonderland.
Cool.
And my site is artbymia.com with dashes between each word.
Nice. Welcome, Mia. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
All right. I think there's a couple more we haven't heard from yet.
I'll go.
All right.
My name is Hijung Lim. I'm a storyboard artist at DreamWorks feature on an unannounced project. Nice to meet you all. That's all.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you for being here. Let's see. Wendy, have we gotten an intro from you yet?
Okay. Hi everyone. I'm Wendy Tan. I'm from Malaysia. I'm working as a visual development and a storyboard artist. In animation industry in my country. Currently working as a freelance illustrator for children book as well.
Wonderful. Thanks for being on the stream.
Thank you so much for having me.
And I'm just checking. Is there anybody who hasn't had the opportunity to intro themselves yet that would like to?
I think there's one called Craig Mullins.
Oh yeah, Craig was just on the last stream, so I thought.
I've been illustrating digitally for quite a while. Started in like 90, I think 94 was the first time I tried to do one like from beginning to end in Photoshop. So yeah, I've just been freelancing since then.
Welcome,
Craig, were you really doing all those old marathon paintings? Was that all mouse?
Yes.
Oh my God, that's so awesome.
Well, yeah, a lot of them, were more photo batch than paint.
Gotcha.
But no, painting with a mouse is not as difficult as you might think.
Yeah, on the previous jam, both Sparth and Craig were talking about that kind of an approach, and Sparth was sharing about not using any opacity and how that helps with graphic shape language. So that totally makes sense. Like using a mouse. Okay, yeah, right. I could actually do that. And I remember in some of the very first iterations of, I think it was Corel, and this must have been on like an old IBM 286 computer or something. I remember figuring out that I could draw by just clicking pixels, basically like really elaborate pixel art. So I wasn't brave enough to start dragging the mouse around, but I was going in, just, clicking pixels and then zooming back out and seeing how it looks.
How is Painter doing these days? I
I
know that Andrew Jones was using it, and a lot of other people are following his lead with it. But it is still in development, right?
Yeah, no, they have a current iteration that I think they just released last year. I was looking into it, and I don't know a lot about it because I think the last time I used it was like the late 80s. But I know like Christian Olsman has been using Painter for quite a while. I think now his workflow is much more over into Photoshop. But I watched a demo with him on the Gnomon workshop where he was working in Corel.
Excellent.
Yeah,
and a few other folks too. I think are still using it.
Well, and I can't speak from experience. This is just kind of the opinions of the internet, as it were, which are what they are. But I've
Mhm.
heard that Corel tends to be a little bit more leaning for folks that are working digitally that really want to stay in something that feels very traditional, paint wise.
Yes.
And then Photoshop is a little bit more, guessing, the more production-y side of things. But I've found a nice home in Photoshop, and I think it's come a long way.
Yeah. Is anybody having problems with Windows ink and pressure in the latest version of Photoshop?
I just was last night.
Yeah, I have the most recent version of Photoshop is unusable for me.
Yeah, I couldn't use 2020. I had to uninstall. I already had to install the older version because there was some weird issue.
I happened upon a chat just last night while I was trying to fix the same problem, and I found some people that were rolling back. But then I noticed that there was what seemed to be a brand new update to 2020 that I hadn't synced up with yet, and I just went into Creative Cloud and downloaded that, and then when it was done, everything was working. So I don't know. Seems like everybody's having the same problem, but sometimes for different reasons, or they're finding different solutions for it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's really annoying.
Yeah, I'm thinking of just going back to CS6 until it's figured out.
Why stop there? Go all the way back to what was it? Was it version 2 or 3 that you first started painting with, Craig? Or
I think it was the very beginning of 2.
Yeah.
It was before layers.
You could be the first
layers
retro.
was 3.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because they didn't even have layers back then.
Right.
Just start doing some retro Photoshop painting. It'll be like an entirely new thing.
Well, yeah. I mean, just saying pixel art.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's see here. I'm gonna take care of a little bit of housekeeping in the chat really quick, guys. Canvas is looking fun. This is cool. Every one of these streams, I just love watching the way everybody's art emerges at the same time, and so many uniquely different styles. It's really fun. All right. So for everybody who might have just been joining us, this is the All-Star Artist Jam. This is the third of these streams that we've been doing this weekend as a part of LightBox Expo Online. So if you found your way here from LightBox Expo, welcome. I'm so glad that LightBox is happening this year, and I think that the team there has done an amazing job of moving it online and providing some incredible content for artists, as well as ways for artists to connect, like we're seeing right here. So all these artists are drawing in Magma Studio, which essentially is like a Photoshop Lite in the cloud that you can log into, and you can share the link with friends, and all of you can just draw collaboratively together on the same canvas. I've got it covered up, but I mean, you can work with layers, clipping layers, clipping masks, the usual suspects when it comes to this kind of a medium. So it's really, really fun. We're hosting you on the Gnomon Twitch stream, and the Gnomon School is very proud to be participating in Lightbox in this way this year. My name's Adam, and I'm kind of hosting and trying to do a little bit of moderation on the chat as well. But I encourage you, if you have any questions that come up during the course of the stream, feel free to type them in the chat. I'll do my best to get to as many questions as I can. But really, this is just a time for these artists to enjoy drawing and painting and doing what they love, and for us to kind of have that front row seat to be able to observe them that we otherwise never might have this perspective at a live event. This isn't a class, it's not like a demo, it's just hanging out with artists, enjoying what they're enjoying, and getting to know them through their art. So with that, guys, I think what I might do is actually, how's everybody feeling in terms of canvas space? Do you guys want to reset, or is some
I
people
took up too much space?
Well, you took up so little on the last stream, Craig, so I kind of feel like it's just a trade-off, right? But why don't we'll let everybody keep going a bit, and I think what I might do is just take a little bit of a tour and talk to each of our artists here. And guys, there's no pressure. You're not being required to teach or anything like that right now. Just want to go take a look at what you're working on, and maybe just hear you share a couple of things about the way that you like to work in your process. Or you could even share maybe one or two things that you feel that you're really going after to learn right now. Because I think that the great thing about art is you never fully, it's not about arriving, it's about the process, I believe, which means that we all are just going to be lifelong learners. And that's why I love observing things like this, because I'm learning so much just from hosting these streams. So let's see here. I'm going to come over to the upper right-hand corner. There we go. And maybe just, Ben, you mind if we start off with you, just while you're sketching
Sure.
up here?
Yeah, just drawing a kind of junky robot. I've been making a graphic novel called Huxley the last 3 or 4 years, and it's full of junky robots in a really lived-in world. So I'm just, maybe a cool robot that might be able to live in there that I haven't gotten around to making yet.
Mm-hmm. Do you find that, like, because you're kind of developing your own IP in that sense, do you find that when you're just kind of doing work for yourself or just sketching to enjoy it, that's where you come up with a lot of your ideation for your own projects you're doing for yourself?
Yeah, I guess so. Or just, there's no, just letting your mind kind of wander and see what happens instead of always being on a tight deadline or something and stressing out. Just let it flow out.
Yeah. No, I got a chance before LightBox started to go on some kind of test streams or test sessions in Magma with Bobby and some of the artists to be participating. And one of the comments you heard from almost everyone jumping in there was like, "This is so fun. It's like being a kid again. It's just stream of consciousness, really cool. Draw, have a good time."
Yeah, it's really cool.
All right, Laurel, I think you're working on this dragon right next to Ben.
Yes.
Hi.
Hey.
You want to share with us a little bit about either what you're doing right now or just kind of how you approach your art?
Well, I love dragons and drawing creatures, and whenever I sort of end up in a situation where it's like draw anything, it's nearly always like a dragon or a dinosaur, occasionally like a horse or a unicorn or something. So today it was a dragon. I usually like to get a little bit of character into them, give them kind of like in this case a little bit of sideways intensity that just sort of it can look like a little bit evil and like a little bit goofy at the same time. It's sort of fun for me. And I find often creatures don't get enough personality, so I like to do with mine.
Creatures are super fun. I kind of, in the beginning was more paying attention to like character design, character art and stuff like that, but recently started to learn from some instructors, teaching creature, and just discovered how much fun it is, because now you have like a gazillion unlimitless kinds of anatomy you can choose from and mix and match. And in some ways I find that as I've been learning that there's even more personality to explore in creature work.
Totally. Like comparative anatomy is a really fun subject where you like look at different kinds of animals and see how like the muscle structures are similar and how they're different, and like how a dog's scapula is like basically similar to a human scapula but a very different shape, and kind of the way it orients to the body is differently, but like thinking about it in those terms for me is really fun.
Oh yeah, and it seems like you're left with like a limitless supply of anatomy to learn as well.
Yes.
We had the joy of having Terrell Whitlatch on the stream yesterday, and she was just sharing about how, like, you can go, well, I've seen horses and I know what horses look like, and you can start drawing a horse and then very quickly realize that you don't know what a horse looks like. You got to go study that anatomy.
Well, she knows, I'm sure. But then sometimes there's sort of weird angles and you're like, what is it doing from this angle? Like,
right.
I've never found out. And it's like not a typical angle that there are a lot of photos of. So you got to go digging.
All right. And then who have we got just below Ben here in the middle? I think your cursor's moving really fast, so I'm having trouble reading the name. Alkemy Studio. Yes. Okay. And that would be,
it's you.
Yeah.
It's Trevor.
Yeah.
We're in the same room. He's like right behind me.
Oh, right on. Hey, Trevor, I think your mic is muted.
He says okay.
Or you can just talk really loud and we'll hear you through the other side of the room.
He's gonna unmute. I'm gonna mute.
So what's the question?
Oh, just to share either a little bit about what you're doing right now, or kind of, some of the things that are important to you in your process.
What I'm doing right now is called bad art. But that's part of the process. So I actually really have been getting more and more into kind of enjoying that, like what you said, because I think so much of artists, when you get out of school, you really, when you start in the industry, you think you have to be, there is like a certain level that you need to be at. But I think as I've gotten a little bit older, I've really enjoyed kind of looking back at old sketches and learning from them. And one thing that I've done a lot of is more life drawing. And then it's kind of funny how when you do the life drawing or you do the drawing, and when you're doing it, you think that it's really, really bad a lot of times, and maybe not all artists are like that. But then if you just give yourself some time, put it away, bring it back out, and you can maybe find something with fresh eyes. You can find, some good things about that drawing to learn from. And so, as of recently, I've been trying to be more accepting of where I'm at as an artist, and do my best to learn from those things. Because when you look at it with fresh eyes, you can actually see that, oh man, there's actually some really cool things. Like, I like the way I drew that foot, or I like the way I drew that hand, but you didn't notice it at the time because you're so critical in the moment when you're doing drawings and when you're drawing in your sketchbook and stuff, or at least I am. So that's something maybe just to tell younger artists or artists, is just really try to lean into the process and enjoy the bad drawings and try to learn from them as much as possible.
I really resonate with that. That's definitely a growth edge for me right now. I think doing so much work digitally, realizing just how I need to get back to my sketchbook and just make marks and be very accepting of how it's coming out. At least I know for myself, until I get the bad drawings out, I don't know what problems I need to solve, and can just chase my tail, with the undo button or whatever it is. So yeah, I think accepting yourself and being willing to iterate is so important. And I need to hear that for sure. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's see. We got another dragon down here. It's very cool. With Hijung, I think. Are you working on this one? Yeah. Hey.
So I am a story artist, actually. I usually don't draw this kind of stuff. My stuff is like usually like stick figures, almost, like very rough. But I've always liked to draw creatures or like illustrations. So this is very refreshing to me.
Nice.
And it's not very good. I don't know.
I like it.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is super fun. Yeah, thank you for sharing. Well, so as a story artist, talk to us a little bit about that, because I think that's something that, we hear a lot about other things in pre-production and production, but share with us.
Oh, okay. So storyboard is, like everybody knows, but it's visualizing the script. I've worked on TV, both TV and feature, and it's very different process. Like TV tends to be fast, but it can definitely get your work out. Like you only have like 1 or 2 passes on it, like for like 4 or 5 weeks. But for feature, you get to really spend time on certain sequence, and it usually gets scraped out. But there's fun in that too. Like you get to work on same sequence like from different perspective every time you work on it. So the process would be like you have 1 or 2 weeks for thumbnails like with like for the script, and then you show it to the directors and take notes, and then you clean up the sequence and it goes to editorial. Yeah, that's pretty much what storyboard artists do. It's usually, I think I've cleaned up about like 700 panels one day.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's the thing that's always seemed very intimidating to me about storyboarding is how rapid you have to be.
Yeah, but also you don't have to really render the drawings, so it can be really fast if you wanted to.
Okay. Is there? Did you find there was a learning curve in terms of wanting to do more than you needed to, for a particular panel, or?
Yeah, you have to be able to let go things. Like even if you don't like it, if it breathes, like if it's clear, that's just all you need. So like you have to control yourself to not focus on the details.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that definitely seems, and I have a great respect for, I think, both storyboard artists and animators, because just the mileage of line that has to be made.
Yeah.
I love watching both storyboard artists and animators sketch, like iterate really quickly, because I think that there's so much, especially those who've had a lot of years. There's so much deliberateness in the strokes and the lines that they lay down. I love it.
Yeah, there's shorthands.
Yeah.
Gestures. It's all great.
Is it possible to do storyboard jobs remotely?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I would love to do. I've never done storyboards, but
where are you located?
In Hawaii.
Oh, I think you can absolutely do it. Like if you have chance to show portfolios and stuff.
Yeah, I'd have to get a portfolio of drawings together and you like say, okay, I did this in 42 seconds. Is that good enough? Or you know, it's like how fast versus how good, or it's fast times good equals utility is the equation. So yeah, I mean, I know that, okay, I can do a nice painting, but how fast can you do it, and how clear can you make it in that amount of time?
As long as it reads clearly, that's enough for the storyboard.
Yeah.
Because it often gets tossed out, and you should not feel like lost for your artwork. Like.
Oh, I got over that a long time ago.
Yeah.
You know, I spent a month on something, I throw it out and I go, oh well.
I know that happens all the time in storyboards. So I think deal with that feeling is important.
Yeah.
And yeah. And you can absolutely do it like remotely. We are all working from home these days, so.
Yes, I just want more mileage drawing.
All right, I'm gonna move. Let's see, up to the left and the above the dragon here to, I think, Natalie. Is rendering a nice little portrait here. Natalie, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah. Would you like to? Is there anything you'd like to share with us?
Not terribly. Just kind of hanging out.
Yeah. Yeah. No worries. And again, like I was saying in the beginning, this isn't. There's nothing formal about what we're doing, so I don't want to make anybody share more than they would like to.
Yeah. No worries.
But it's great to have you here, and I love what you're doing.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this piece though isn't mine. My marker is just above it. That is Mia's, I think.
I just hide Natalie's fish, so.
Nice.
Yeah, and now she's doing the fish that I drew.
That's what's so cool about this. Yeah. No, and I love it. The last stream we just did before this one, everybody was hopping around, you know, and I think, yeah, it's just really cool to see everybody jump on each other's art and like either add something to it or render it. I think Craig and Sparth were collaborating on a piece for a while. It was really cool to see both of their styles work together like that. All right. So let's see. Let's just hop over to Mia then.
Oh, yeah. This is actually the main character for my illustrated novel that I'm working on. So I've just been drawing her a lot. It's actually based on a model that I hired that she's my muse for this character. So but yeah, it was inspired by Alice in Wonderland originally, but now it's becoming more of my story, and I'm writing and illustrating it. And it's my take on the story. It's a sister story. It's set in a West African fantasy world, and it's going to be fully illustrated. It's just been taking me many, many years to get it done. But in terms of drawing and stuff, like I said, I'm pretty new to digital, so I am very like line based, and the blending side of it is just, it's a lot of trial and error at this point.
Mm-hmm.
In that regard, but I paint in acrylics usually and a little bit of watercolor. But yeah, it's just been fun actually using this app. Like I was telling Kay actually that I don't have an iPad, so this is like the closest thing to having like Procreate for me this week.
Yeah.
So it's just try stuff and I don't know, just kind of mess around in a non-permanent fashion in the sense that I can just, you know, try different things and not throw the paper away.
Yeah. Have you tried Adobe Fresco at all?
I haven't.
It's really nice watercolor brush engine that they use. So
cool.
if you use Fresco and then you lay down, like you can get texture packs of like watercolor paper that you can lay down beneath your work. You know, do some line or just start in with watercolor. The Adobe Fresco brushes, like you make a swath of like, you know, where your water is going essentially, and then the color starts flowing into it, so it feels a lot more like watercolor.
Oh wow.
You know, granted, it's not going to be a perfect
What was
substitute.
that? Could you say that again, Adam?
Oh yeah, Adobe Fresco. They released it, I think, last year. They were at Lightbox for kind of spooling up for their big release of Fresco. And a lot of artists were demoing it. You know, a lot of people are pitting it, of course, against Procreate, but for me, they're just two different tools. Fresco does some things that I like, and I use Fresco for that, and then Procreate does other things that I like. But I think when it comes to Fresco, they've got some really nice, somewhat traditional feeling brushes, especially in the watercolor.
You know, as far as like watercolor goes, try Ravel.
Oh yeah, you were demoing that last year, weren't you, Craig?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an awesome program. Everybody should try it.
I just looked it up recently, and yeah, it looks amazing.
And you know, not only in terms of just its watercolor simulation, but the way the program works and the way you interact with it and the design decisions made and the construction and architecture of the program, it's really clearly thought out. And you know, that type of thinking would really be useful and interface to other programs.
You know, Craig, I tried it after your suggestion, and I could not believe how much it worked like watercolor or gouache.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It is. I've been trying to, you know, get more people into it.
Well, and I don't think it's terribly expensive either. It's pretty
What's that
reasonable.
one called again? What's it called?
Ravel, R-E-B, yeah.
Okay, cool.
I'll spell it here.
I think someone had told me I should use that for work, and then I never looked into it, but now I regret it.
It's still there.
In fact, I think they just did a new release since Lightbox last year, right? It's like Rebel 4 now or something? 4 or 5?
No, I think it's still in 3.
Okay.
They're coming out. It's been a while since it's had a major update, but it's quite stable. I've never had a crash. And the one thing about it is it tends to work much better, and the watercolor simulation is more credible at lower resolutions. You know, you get up at commercial resolutions, you know, 6-8K, and it not only does it slow down because it's doing extremely heavy math, but it just doesn't really feel like the same type of thing. It feels more like what you'd expect, which is a clunky imitation of watercolor, but at lower resolutions, it feels just like watercolor.
Wow. And when you say lower resolution, what kind of pixel density?
Well, like 1500 pixels,
okay,
something like that.
That's still a decent amount of pixels to work with.
Yeah, it's good enough.
Mm-hmm. That's really cool. No, I was looking into that a while back, and I'm gonna have to revisit it for sure. All right, let's see. We were just talking with Mia. Let's see, and then wait a minute. Okay, wait, no, Mia was working on the character, and now Tidewan, I think, is now working on the same character. Is that right?
No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, and then she disappeared, or they disappeared. Let's see.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there you are. Okay. Did you want to share?
Well, I'm just like doing like random sketching now. Hello?
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 Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
you're just doing some sketching?
Yeah, just doing some random sketch.
Nice. And what did you say earlier that you've been doing? Because I think you, where are you based again?
I'm actually from Bangkok, Thailand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'm a freelance illustrator and background painter.
Oh, great. Okay. Like a background painter for animation?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. No, what was it? I saw some great stuff from some background painters. Have awesome things to say about composition, of course. But I've learned some really neat principles of composition by just watching background painters do what they do.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Now I'm starting to make myself dizzy. I'm zoomed way too in on the canvas. Hang on. Okay. Let's see here. I'm going to keep moving over to the left here. And then, wait a minute. Pepper Fern, is that an avatar for your
Yeah, that's me. That's me.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Yeah,
I like Pepper Fern. That's funny.
Nice. Yeah, no, and we all have the names that we use for things. And I was just getting confused because I don't know if I can't remember an artist named Pepper.
Yeah, no, it's me. It's Andrea. It's just Pepper
Yeah.
Fernandez is my handle, so I figure
for sure.
It's usually what no one can ever find my name online because it's far too common.
Yeah.
So.
Do you want to talk to us a little bit about what you're doing, or kind of what's important to you in your process?
Oh, you're so zoomed in. That's hideous.
Oh, okay.
I'm just kidding. It's fine. There's no process right now. It's really just I'm just trying out these tools that it's like a brand new thing, so it's kind of fun to figure out what to do with it.
Yeah.
And playing with like opacity and color, and it's fun because like initially it's like, oh, it was kind of feeling like a pen, and now down here it's feeling like a little bit more like a strokey gouache or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just playing around with the tools and capabilities of it.
And what do you normally work in? Oh, sorry.
Oh no, it's okay. What do I normally work? Probably Photoshop, digital, and then gouache, I think.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm drawing, just like pencil and vellum is what I like to use as well. Yeah, I'm not too like particular about what I use to draw. I just kind of use whatever's around.
I love that. Yeah.
But yeah, that's like, I wish I could tell you something that was like, oh, what's going through my head? It's just exploration, I think, is what's going through my head.
Yeah.
Nothing too fancy. I'm waiting for the refresh so I can try out some other stuff.
Cool. Yeah, we'll get to that actually pretty soon as we just kind of finish our rounds.
But these everyone's doing such cute stuff. It's like this like little scenario beside me is so cute.
Yeah.
I want to draw little things on top of it, but I'm like, oh no, she's gonna get so mad at me. It's so cute.
I'm getting like almost like cat bus vibes over here.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Feels
I
a little
love
Miyazaki.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, this is my beetle bus.
Nice.
I love this beetle bus.
Thanks. Yeah, I just try to exploring this this app right now. I think it's a little different from what I usually work. So for this one, I just try to start with some details and try to expand the drawing and have fun. Yeah.
It's very cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, and I'm making myself dizzy here, and I always get anxious that I haven't gotten to everybody, but I think I see. Oh yeah, John's just above you here, I think. It's funny as soon as I get to somebody's piece, their cursor like runs away.
Yeah, I'm right here.
Don't look at me.
If you guys are running away from it, I'm on the prowl. Yeah. Yeah. Would you like to share with us, John?
Yeah. So, what can I share? My thought process just kind of started with some doodles and started to see what kind of came out of what I was looking at, and started to build and just let my imagination build what was next, and thinking about, okay, what's next. And then I was thinking, well, you know, it'd be awesome is if Ben Mauro was painting on top of mine, or Craig Mullins, or anybody else. That's I was just looking at it like, well, okay, time to pass on if anyone wants to fiddle with it, paint with it. But yeah, just painting what's on my mind. Like I said, I started as a fine artist and moved into the film industry, and I just love seeing what comes out of my imagination as I start to put some marks down and seeing what flows out.
Yeah. And I think we were talking about this yesterday, but for the artists that we have out there who were working in the industry in a traditional medium before the big shift to digital came, I think we're in such an important time to hear from those artists because, you know, the things that are being done digitally were you know, essentially pioneered. As artists, we're looking for a way to work out a similar process, or to, you know, to essentially paint using pixels. And I think right now we have a whole generation that's come up just in the digital realm.
Yeah, which is incredible.
Well, and it's great because I think we're seeing, even, you know, in a lot of cases, there's some amazing innovation happening, but I also think that sometimes it sort of becomes almost a sort of a self-feeding cycle. And I've loved learning from traditional artists who have also worked digitally talk about the way that they approach digital painting. Because I feel anyway, like it helps me get underneath, you know, the digital, and kind of have a better feel for like how I'm commanding the software and utilizing it.
You know, if this helps anybody, I will share just a little of my process. Is one thought is I'm always looking for brevity of stroke. So, and I'm always trying to reduce values. So I sometimes start with some sort of sketch, but quite often just go right into paint. I feel like that gives, at least for me, gives me a more painterly look. Instead of, it's just, I find if I just put in some really big marks and then start carving into it, I can just let my imagination build the shapes and not really worry, kind of think of the abstraction, not worry if it's a mountain or a boat or a water, just say, how are these shapes fitting together? And is there an interesting value pattern? And, you know, that I apologize to, I don't know who is painting whatever, whatever, whoever's name it is just to the right of me. And I saw some of my marks went over the face. So I went back and
that was me. I don't care at all. I was gonna tell you just paint over that.
I apologize. As soon as I saw Mark go on there, I raised.
No, I don't. No, go ahead. It's like, it's funny because we're like all taking up all this like finite amount of space. So
go
it's
all filling up.
Yeah.
So, but it's so fun to see this. It's so fun to see everyone create. It's really hard for me to draw or paint because I just keep looking at everyone else's awesomeness. And that's always a reminder, I think, in the painting world is sometimes you can get so focused on how great everyone else is that you keep your eyes on them and saying, okay, they're great, they're inspiration, but let's get drawing again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
I had a big problem with that. Like, 10 years ago, I saw so many, super talented young people like coming up, and I wanted to like incorporate the best of them. So you go through 100 artists, or I'm going to do this amazing graphic shape like this, and then, oh no, I want to do this fantastic gooey oil, but still keep it graphic. And in the end, you just have to be you. And it's also it's so defeating to like you go to a person's website and you see the product of a lifetime or the product of years, and it's overwhelming. And then you go to a museum and you see geniuses, the best painting, and 100 geniuses all sitting there staring at you and mocking you.
Yeah.
And you just have to let that go and be you as much as you can. It really messed me up to try to be other people and to try to incorporate who they are. I mean, it's great to learn from them, but boy, there's a fine balance there between something that is you and something that is not you, and something that you try to eat and you get indigestion and you don't even see it.
Who's saying this right now?
That's Craig Mullins.
Oh,
Hello.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, it's interesting to hear because it's like, what? I feel the same way, but it's like interesting when you think someone has like such a like a defined sense of self in their art and stuff that you still would like go back and forth on stuff like that.
Craig, that's one of the things I really appreciated about the Schoolism course that you did, was from the onset, like it seemed like you basically said, I'm not going to teach you how to paint like Craig Mullins. We're going to talk about what makes paintings work, what helps. And you gave us a good foundation to build what we do on top of, as opposed to, well, Craig does it this way, so I'll do it that way.
Yeah, hopefully.
No,
and
yeah.
it took me so long to try to figure out what are the principles that really underline most naturalistic art. And what I mean, I knew how I did things intuitively, but something that really can apply to me, because I can find exceptions to any rule, anything I would teach, I could always find exceptions to it. So I was so reluctant to teach anything that people could say, well, it's not true here, because if I teach somebody and someone takes it to heart, then they have to unlearn it, and it's limiting. And I had a teacher at Art Center. He was trying to teach us how to render using value. And most people use line from a very early age, and so he even had an epithet. He called you line drawer. That was worse than calling you a horrible name.
Wow.
Oh no.
And that it just burned into my brain, and it became a reflex. And it's taken me so long to get over that, even though I was taught that with the best intentions.
Right.
They're trying to teach you something quickly using blunt force trauma. But even if you do a course and people admire you as an artist, then it's an argument from authority, and it's the same thing. Because Craig Mullins says this, so you better do it that way. That's ridiculous.
Well, I think what you got me. I think the first couple of lessons, because you're jumping in and showing some things with value and shape, and I'm getting into it, and I'm like, oh, cool, I'm learning the way that Craig does things and all that. And then you just come right out and go, oh yeah, I just started messing around with this approach recently. I was like, oh, okay.
It's true.
But a big part of the learning curve on that course was unlearning the idea of I need to find validation by chaining myself to another artist, as opposed to just building a foundation and letting myself grow.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah. No, I feel like
I'm starting to work. I'm formulating an idea for a new course, and it's basically about learning the art fundamentals, and that is, okay, let's learn about form and perspective make shape. But then once you learn that, hopefully quickly, and can draw, I think the example I'm going to use is a whole bunch of bicycles. Like, you have 50 bicycles, and I want you to draw them in a parking lot. And can you handle the ellipses in proper perspective, in proper scale to one another, turned at different angles using a common eye level? So it's a little bit more difficult than you think. But once you get that, then where do you go with your art? Then the art becomes learning about the world and how the world fits together. And now you have the tools to delineate it, and now it becomes an aspect of learning how, like a horse scapula works, and how that relates to could work on a four-winged dragon. So it becomes like, you start learning about things that have nothing to do with art. So anyway, that's kind of what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I'm working on it.
Is that why also, we've got somebody waiting in the, sorry. I just noticed we had somebody waiting in the waiting room on Zoom. Trevor, are you with us?
Yeah, I am. My computer froze up.
Oh, sorry about that.
Okay.
How long were you waiting in the waiting room there?
Like 45 minutes. No,
I'm a terrible host. Yeah. Okay. So sorry about that. That's one of the, and maybe there's a way around it with Zoom that I just don't know. But one of the things that's been hard for me with Zoom is like I have to keep paying attention to the waiting room to make sure there's nobody in there. Okay, but welcome. Yeah, so sorry about that.
We're fighting for our bandwidth, so we both continuously keep getting kicked off.
Oh, okay. Yep. Gotcha. Let's see. Don't want to put anybody on the spot, but I also don't want to miss anybody. Is there anybody that I haven't gotten to on this little canvas tour we're doing who would be interested in sharing? I don't want to force anybody to do anything here. Looking around to make sure there's no one that I've missed. Can't remember. Wendy, did we get a chance to talk to you?
Haven't yet. I only introduced myself.
Oh, okay. And where are you right now? I'm kind of scanning the canvas.
Yeah, actually, I just drew my dog.
Oh, there you are. Yeah.
Yeah. I miss him so much because I'm actually, because of LightBox, I stay away from my home, so I haven't got to see him for like 2 days. Yeah. Gotta be back 2 days later.
Okay. And so you didn't give him wings because he's passed away, right? You just gave him...
No.
Okay, good.
He's so cute.
Yeah. No, for a second there, I thought it was going to become a very sad story.
No, it's not.
Yeah, no, that's wonderful.
He's only like 2 years old, so yeah,
Okay.
he still has a long way to go.
Yeah, and he is really
Gotta
cute.
protect him.
I can see that.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
And I think Natalie has draw the bones for my dog, so it's so cute.
That's great. Well, is everybody just about ready for a canvas refresh?
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start a completely new canvas in Magma. It's not going to destroy this one. This link that I shared with you will still be accessible if you want to go in, download a copy of the picture or, whatever you'd like to do. But you guys just keep drawing. I'm going to set up the next canvas and then I'll send you guys a link to it in the Zoom chat.
Adam, is there any way you could drop the link here in this Magma chat? Because since my Zoom's on my phone, I won't be able to.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Let me see here.
Oh, is there a Magma chat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can drop it there.
Thank you.
So great.
Got it.
So are we gonna have prompt for the next one?
Yes. No, I will have a prompt for you. Yeah.
Oops. Oh, you haven't sent it yet.
No, I'm just getting it set up right now.
Yeah, that's the last one.
Sometimes I feel like artists are like, don't tell me what to do, but then if you give us a prompt, it's like, please tell us what to do. we need something.
All right, just a moment. It feels like I'm going to have to restart my browser. And now everybody gets to see my ordinary desktop. Sorry about that.
Oh, that's nice.
Is that yours?
No, this is a piece by yamaurabev.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, I was learning a course from him that he was doing this piece in. It's actually one of his this one's one of his concepts from The Mandalorian.
Ooh. Cool.
There we go. All right, let's refresh this guy.
Is this being streamed right now at on Twitch?
Yes, it is.
Can I get the link actually?
Oh, sure. If you just go to let's see, it'd just be twitch.tv/Gnomon_school. And
Okay.
Gnomon is spelled Gnomon. And guys, I just realized that I left the old canvas to start up this one. So when I share the link in Zoom, one of the first people into the canvas here, if you go down to the Magma chat and share it there as well. That'd be really helpful.
Okay.
Oh yes, I just need somebody to share it in the chat from the old canvas. That's right.
Okay. I don't know how to do that. I'd be glad to help.
Oh sure, there's a little like looks like a thought bubble in the lower right hand corner. Just click on that.
Got it. You're good. Thank you so much.
All right, so everybody's finding their way in.
Okay.
Now everybody's
Yeah,
going
I
to
will
go
do
stake
that.
their
So it's the
claim.
one-
Okay.
Some people have already made it in there.
Yeah, this is like the Hunger Games art style.
Oh,
We don't even have.
There's no cornucopia in the middle either. It's just.
Oh man, I'll be late.
Okay.
I will have nothing in there.
No worries. So I'm going to give you guys your prompt now. And let's
is funny.
see.
It's like,
Well, I feel like it's not a loss because Craig, I think you kind of wound up hiding behind a hippo in the last session.
Yeah.
So maybe you can still interact with the same prompt. It's the same one from our last session.
Yeah,
But
I hope you guys don't mind. I'm just gonna this there. Is that okay?
Okay, so
this is just about enough room.
Oh, excellent! So good.
I don't undo it. I want to draw on that.
I'm gonna work on a piece of rice right here.
Okay, now wait a minute. I'll throw this out to you guys. This can be a prompt that all of you can work on individually, or you can start finding your way collaboratively to kind of start working on the same thing. I don't know. Maybe that's too chaotic, but here's the prompt, and I'll let you guys kind of decide. So one of the things that I think has been really, really neat that's occurred, in social distancing and all of that is that when we get limitations, that also provides opportunities for innovation. So like when a human loses one of their primary senses, the other senses heighten, right? So, even just Magma Studio, I think, is a great representation of that. We're distanced now, so we need to come up with a way to connect. And then something was come up with for LightBox Expo that actually gives everybody a front row seat and allows us to connect in a really unique way. So it's the idea of, facing limitation and developing a superpower. So the prompt is really simple. And that is, if you could have any superpower, what would it be? And you can choose to interact with that however you would like to. I mean, you can even turn it on its ear and do your own thing if you really want to. It's just to kind of get everybody started. So don't feel like everybody has to do like superhero character design or something like that, only if you want to. So we'll start with that. And I'll tell you what, I'll leave it to, if a few people start finding something they want to collaborate on, go for it. If you wind up jamming out on kind of your own thing, do that. We'll just see where this evolves over the course as we move forward.
That's really hard.
Yeah, it's hard one.
I thought you were going to say camels. I don't know.
Well, okay, I'll work with that. I'll work with that.
I'm just kidding.
So
Camels are really fun to draw.
Take your own idea and then use it to hijack the superhero idea.
Okay, so superpowers. Something.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, there was a really, really cool one that came up that I thought was fun in our first stream yesterday, and that was the power of whenever you take a nap, time stops.
Oh, that's a good one.
I was like, that's really clever.
But how did it like visualize?
They literally just drew somebody that fell asleep in their
Okay.
sleep bowl. Yeah. So yeah, definitely not. I don't want to stump anybody. But even if the idea, I mean, quite literally just sparks a completely different idea, go for it. Like this is I'm not an art director. You're not working on my IP. Like just have fun. Have fun with it. I just saw somebody in the chat go, "This is nuts," in a fun way. I think that's well said. So for anybody who's just joining us, we are this is a part of LightBox Expo Online, which was premiered last year as an amazing conference for artists right here in Pasadena, California. And this year, because of social distancing, they've really taken it all online in a very innovative sort of way. This is a part of that programming, and what we're doing is we've got some fantastic artists who are utilizing a cloud-based app or program, kind of like a Photoshop Lite, and they're all drawing and sketching together on the same canvas. So for those of you joining us from Lightbox, welcome. And for those of you who kind of found your way in here just through the randomness of the internet, welcome, and welcome to Lightbox. Please go check that out at lightboxexpo.com. And I'll just mention that our sponsor for this stream is Gnomon. Gnomon is basically a 3D art school in Hollywood that specializes in training artists for careers in VFX, games, and animation. And I'll throw a few things in the chat for anybody who's interested in those disciplines and learning more. You can feel free to do that. And otherwise, we're just going to keep jamming here and talking and sharing. We've had a super fun time already, so let's do it. Everybody's being so polite. I'm like seeing like everybody very kind of started with enough space, a little bit of buffer space in between them.
And initially there was like a bunch of crazy lines that I was trying to like add sci-fi stuff to it, but then it got deleted or
oh.
Like just connecting all the lines and trying to find a way to like connect them all would be kind of funny.
And I
They're
think
just interesting.
I think there's a way, I don't even know if you would need to do this, but there's a way you can also invite someone to work on a layer that you've been working on if you want to do that too. And I think it's just like they have to come over and like right click your layer and see if they can get in. I don't know. We'll figure it out as we go.
The layer first or something like that, like where you kind of relinquish your author.
That's
that layer.
Right. You can leave the layer and then somebody else can pick it up maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
Oh no.
Oh no, that was an awesome drawing. Where'd it go?
Into the ether.
You know, and just the art jam previous to this one, Craig was sharing stories from the days when digital work for pre-production was relatively new, and he had to go set up AOL accounts for some of his clients so he could email work to them. I thought that was amazing.
I can't imagine the world without Cintiq now.
You know, yeah, and I actually started doing digital art recently. So my first platform was on the iPad. So I got really spoiled of learning how to draw directly on the screen. And then I moved over to a Cintiq, and then only recently started using a tablet and just realized how much I had to adjust to using a tablet and how much I should try to adjust, because you can't always guarantee that you got the same tools.
What were you working in before, Adam?
Before the iPad?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So just really briefly.
You ask about us.
Yeah, a little bit about me.
Know more about you.
Sure thing. So I'll try not to rabbit trail and share the short version with you. But basically, I made a really hard pivot into digital art and into doing concept at the age of 40. So I, always, my earliest memories as a child are drawing, and art was always a part of my life, but I chose a different career path. I worked in nonprofit, and art always found its way in. So I was overseas, living in Europe with my wife for 13 years, and we were using the arts to do community building and kind of do like socially conscious initiatives and stuff like that. And then upon moving back to the States, it was kind of like a big reset button in my life. And art really took center stage. I, started finding tremendous resources like Schoolism online, the Gnomon workshop, things like that, and started to make a pretty concerted investment. So I'd take my day off and spend about a 10 to 12 hour day working on art and learning. So taking Craig's course on Schoolism was a really big part of that. It was my first digital art class I ever took. And had already been doing a ton of graphic design in Photoshop, so I was familiar with the platform. But yeah, after about 2 years of really solid investment, constant investment, and I continue to learn, of course, I got kind of my first freelance gig with an indie game studio, and did some freelance work for them, and then eventually found my way over to Gnomon. So right now I absolutely love my job in the sense that I get to hang out with artists a ton through working at Gnomon, and kind of get to be in one of the nerve centers of that world. And then, on evenings and weekends, I get to work on my art. I get to work on some freelance projects, and I'm really loving it.
Oh, yes.
How's Alex doing? It's been a long time since I talked to him.
Yeah, he's doing great, actually. I started working at Gnomon about 1.5 years ago, and I was already familiar with Gnomon and familiar with Alex, from the internet and everything. But he's still very involved with the school. He can, it continues to be he's the larger shareholder owner of the school, and continues to provide direction. Recently we brought on Josh Herman as the chief creative officer at the school, so he works very closely with Alex, and helps to initiate things, and the way he describes it is just helps keep Gnomon in that sense.
Yeah
Well,
I just think I've always thought it was just such amazing, because Alex is he's like a digital art geek like me, yet the ability to create a school like that and to stay involved with it is a mental capacity that I will never dream of having. But he's been able to do it, and I think everybody owes him a lot of kudos for that.
And what I really like about the way that he's done it is Gnomon has always been artist-centric. So, started by an industry artist. Everybody who works at the school is an artist.
As opposed to a promoter.
Right. So, and what I like about my job, even as a rep for Gnomon, is, they don't ask me to go out and try to sell the school, as it were. It's more like I just get to hang out with artists. And for the ones that really gravitate towards the very specific things that Gnomon teaches, I kind of just get to show up and go, hey, there's a place where you can learn about that. And we just find the people that are already on a trajectory towards that sort of thing. Yeah, I absolutely love it. So working at Gnomon feels a lot more like working in a studio as opposed to like an educational institution. Everybody's super creative.
Will make if I kept a diary, it would make my diary on the same painting with Craig Mullins. So just to let you know, I'm pretty excited about that.
Wait, sorry, I missed the first thing you said there. If you keep what?
If I kept a diary, it would make the diary that I'm painting on the same painting as Craig Mullins right now.
That's awesome.
Well, I'm messing up your painting here.
Not at all. I'll talk about it for years.
But yeah, I mean, I love what I'm doing right now, guys. This is absolutely one of my favorite things in the world to do, is to spend time with you, to get to know you in this context. I'm always interested in what artists do for themselves, because I think my opinion is that that's the key to creative sustainability, is to continue to grow and learn and have a sense of who you are, and to have time to do art for joy in that sense. And then, of course, our jobs, those can also be sources of joy. But I think sometimes, we don't get caught in that trap of just constant output, but just finding the opportunity to be filled up again. But I love watching everybody play here. This is super fun.
Yeah, I just discovered something, though. Craig is on a higher layer than I am, so I can't paint on top of what
he announced that strategy in the last session.
Keep
actually,
putting who gets on a higher layer.
Yeah.
Can you change the level? I mean, the order of layers? Is that?
You can drag layers.
I just want to start a new layer, but high too.
You can
drag your layer down as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So you could drag your layer over mine and get rid of all this.
We could come up with more of a competitive version of this, like Layer Wars or something like that.
There is a layer limit though, so somebody would
eventually.
So someone will win eventually.
That's true.
There's a winner.
Yeah, this platform is incredible, but a couple things that I would love to see as it continues to iterate is higher resolution online. And then I think it seems like and I might just not be using it correctly, but I think it seems like it limits the amount of layer stack that I can set up as the maximum for a session.
Well,
I get.
Adam, you said that it gave you simply a warning when you tried to make something of high resolution.
Yes, when I tried to go up to, I was just going to go up to 3000 by 2000 instead of full HD, and it said, warning, at resolutions higher than HD, you can experience lag and performance issues.
Have you tried it? Does that in fact happen?
I haven't tried it with this many people yet. So I didn't want to make you guys the guinea pigs and then have everybody like, I can't draw right now. But no, it would be a worthwhile experiment.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, Craig, before we started the new canvas, the piece that you're working on the other one there, one of the things that was a learning point for me when I took your course, but also just watching you paint, the way that you so intentionally move from larger shapes to smaller shapes, general to specific. Can you unpack that a little bit more? Because I can tell that you're very, very intentional, but of course I can't get inside your brain and hear the decisions you're making.
I'm not really sure that I am that intentional because I had no idea where I was going with that thing.
Okay.
I did not form it in my head ahead of time at all. But you know, it is like this shape suggests that, and you have that idea, so you go with that. So it's like a stream of consciousness almost.
Yeah, and I noticed though that like you started out with a sketch, and then you started kind of blocking in some values, and then at a certain point it started to gel. But you seem to hold off on a smaller brush size until much, much later in the process.
Yeah, but rest assured that I purposefully invert that sometime.
Okay.
And, you know, doing something like this is, you just start with small shapes. Sometimes, you know, I'll, like if you have I'm drawing in the middle of the screen here. Here's a big 10,000 by 8,000 pixel document. And I'm just going to start with marks here. But the thing is I'm still doing the same thing. I'm just doing it a scale to the whole composition. But yeah, I mean, I'll draw an edge of something, and I'll try to make, you know, that edge not blobby, or, you know, I'll really try to make that line live and have it, you know, have information in it. You know, I can't really do it at this resolution. So yeah, you could try to invert it. Start with very specific details and build a world around that detail, and not even knowing what the detail is. Or, you know, take a picture of an inkwell, right? Okay, you got an inkwell here. Drop that in the middle right here. Paint a picture around it.
Yeah,
that's your constraint. So there's always possibility of just really consciously changing the way you go about things and trying to break the pipeline, because it's settling on that pipeline because it's so reliable that it's so seductive to want to solidify that process. And it's just kind of, I don't know, it would become very boring if, like, okay, Tuesday 9 a.m. I'm into now using multiply to render up my middle dark values. And that's what I always do on Tuesday.
Yeah.
It must be Tuesday.
It must be Tuesday.
It's multiply Tuesday.
Yeah. So anyway, you get what I'm saying.
Totally, yeah. And that actually really helps. And I think what you outline in the course in terms of like understanding what your shapes mean, whether you are playing with those shapes and not knowing where you're going yet, but it's that use of shape that at least really identified for me. I feel like it's easier for me to create volumetric shapes on the canvas. Line is something that I'm having to really push myself towards as a growth edge. Do you have any advice, Craig, for artists that have been working digitally quite a bit, but would love to move towards a medium like gouache? As you kind of went the opposite direction, as it were. How does what are the good aspects of what we're doing digitally that could relate to gouache, or what might we have to unlearn?
Well, I have been painting at life drawing class before, and I screw something up. I have this momentary desire to reach for Control Z.
Yes.
Probably a lot of people, it's like hitting a light switch when the power's out. But yeah, it does kind of. It's really good because you have to think about things beforehand. Like you have a big piece of watercolor paper, you better know what you're doing and have some type of plan. And as great, as flexible as digital art is, it teaches people to be very reactive and not really think and plan things, because you can change anything forever. So in that sense, it can be a negative thing. So yeah, you're thinking about traditional art materials. Well, you're going to have to plan and think a little bit more, and maybe break things down into drawing, value study, color study, finish, as opposed to digital where it's all compressed into one for a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, and that would actually, I mean, I can imagine for myself how that would even help my digital approach, right? Not relying upon Control Z so much, just arbitrarily.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I like to to draw things like I'll draw on this, and then if it's a mistake, most of the time I'll just leave it and try to work with it and around it. One thing I love to do is to use custom brushes, and I don't know what my custom brushes do. So I'll pick one arbitrarily and just make a mark with it and say, okay, how can I use this now?
Yeah.
So being able to, adapt to something, I mean, at its most obvious, interface designers and software designers are trying to make it so that there is no obstacle between the creative brain and what you're expressing. But a lot of times putting constraints on it can really help as opposed to hinder.
Yes.
That's what we were talking about with like the way Alberto uses Photoshop. He doesn't use any of the shortcuts that we all use, and he does it on purpose for that reason.
All right, guys. Well, one thing we're going to need to do today is we're going to end about 10 to 15 minutes early, just because the Concept Art Awards are coming up right at 6 o'clock. And it's going to be happening on this stream as well, so I need to give some time for the changing of the guard, as it were. So I think what I'll just start, and I'm not saying we have to end now, but I think I'd like to just take another quick tour and at least hear from you guys about how you interacted with the prompt, even if you didn't interact with the prompt, which is totally cool. But just kind of hear where you guys are coming from. So I think I'll start off with I'm right here, so I'll start off with Ben, which this is cool. I like what you're doing here, Ben.
Yeah, I'm just doing some kind of sci-fi insect-inspired spaceship.
Nice.
I forgot about the prompts.
No worries.
Just getting a kind of aggressive shape and starting to break up an interesting value pattern and play with these black and red shapes.
And is this at all similar to some of the way that you work in your process in terms of like working in your lines, blocking out the silhouette, or?
Yeah, a lot of this would be more like production kind of stuff, making sure there's a interesting silhouette for the player or in the movie, and then once I feel it's kind of working in line, it's easy. Like all the hard work's kind of done at that point. It's just coloring in.
Yeah. No, and I love just learning more and more about the differences between the way that you approach design for video games and for something like film. Because video games have their own unique constraint, right? So that has to affect the way that you think and design.
Yeah, it just depends too. Like if it's like, usually on film, they just need a bunch of quick ideas to sell the script or the story, and you're usually under the gun all the time. And in games, you gotta kind of design something from all angles. So there's a bit more thought sometimes. But then if you're like on the prop department, you got to do the same thing. You got to figure
Mhm.
out that cool prop that the actors are going to interact with from all the angles. So someone needs to manufacture it.
Wait a moment.
Ben-
Wait, I'm sorry,
Ben?
guys, to interrupt. Did Chinchilla find their way back into our canvas again? Is that you, Chinchilla? Yes. I know exactly how I would do this if I were in your shoes, and I love your sense of innovation. Very creative.
Maybe I could ask a question.
Sure.
Ben, I'd love to, since you were talking, I'd love to know, you know, I've been a fan of your work for a long time, and
thank you.
just your process of, by the way, this is John. I'm the one next to you with the mountain.
I see.
What, on your process, I wasn't watching, I saw the initial sketch, but when you're building, what could you walk through that process at all in what you're doing?
Initially, I think Craig might have been trying to draw a face or something, and then I was just like connecting lines to maybe we all draw on the same thing, but then I think he went and turned the layer off, and I was like stuck with whatever I had, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'll turn that into a spaceship.
Yeah, okay.
So it wasn't really planned at all. It was just like, I guess that could be a spaceship.
Craig Mullins factor.
Huh? What?
But that's also a fun thing too. Like Craig was saying, like you just start with a couple of shapes. Like, I wonder if I connect this line, what would that be? Like Terada, I love his drawings and design, and watching him draw, it's very like almost automatic drawing. Like he makes a line, and then you can see him thinking for a second and makes another line, and then it turns into like some crazy robotic girl or something.
Yeah, the key to that though is to draw and then think and then draw, as opposed to scribbling like continuously.
Yeah, for sure. So for this, it was more like I had something, and then it was like, well, that's too much of a square, so I tried to maybe emphasize more of the shapes closer to the front, so it's a bit more front heavy. I don't know if I achieved that as well as I would have liked, but making it feel a bit more front heavy, so there's some directionality to it, and some of these like side shapes helping to visually push it forward, but still feels a little too back heavy.
Thanks, Ben.
I'm gonna keep moving around the canvas here. John, I think you're in the kind of upper right portion here.
Yeah, I'm doing the mountain that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, just process probably was same thing. As my previous is, I just start putting shapes and color down, and start looking at it and starting looking relationships of, does this feel cold? Does this feel warm? Does it feel dry? What kind of world is this? And then as I start to build a world, then I think, okay, what do I want to put in there? I thought, as Craig was working on it, was hoping he was going to grab the spaceship that I was working on, make it into something that worked a little better. But yeah, just kind of that process of what, starting with some marks, starting with shapes, and really basing it all on shape. I think that was a big change that I had a few years ago, was in just painting to paint or just thinking about shapes. I have a class on schoolism as well. And I talk about that a lot, about this transformation that I went from being a kind of a painter to a shape maker, because I stopped caring so much about painting and I started caring a lot more about shape. And I think that helped drive me mentally to a different place than I would normally as I paint, not being such a slave to of the world or a drawing or anything like that. Just trying to make the best shape making that I can do.
Very cool.
So Adam,
yeah,
you know what I was talking about, you know, as far as just like starting to draw details first. That's kind of what I was trying to do here.
Yeah, right down here.
Yeah, right in the middle. Yeah. So, you know, it's very different than, you know, bigger shapes of the whole environment first. Really what it started out is just, you know, this shape here, and becomes shape to shape to shape to shape to shape. Little tiny ones though, not big ones.
Yeah.
And you get to a different place anyway.
Yeah, no, that helps. And I think I don't think we did a lot with line in the course on schoolism. So it's really neat to see you start from this side.
Yeah, I mean, I this is like what I was saying about that teacher that terrified me out of ever using line.
Right.
I force myself to draw with lines sometime.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think sometimes, at least for me, I could shoot myself in the foot in terms of just move forward. You don't have to have everything figured out, as it were. Just move forward with what you have. Make some marks. Doesn't have to be the perfect mark, and just keep moving forward and let the process find itself. All right, I just want to try to catch everybody here. Oh, and Craig, was this only because I didn't have a chance to ask you in the last session? Was there a superpower thought that came to mind for you? I'm just curious, or are you just kind of just going for it?
I'm the Pope, and these are my supplicants.
The superpower of papal position.
Yes.
As it were. Okay. That's awesome. Okay, so let's see. Mia, is the octopus over here yours?
Yeah.
I think I can guess where you're going with this, but I'm not going to say anything.
It's pretty darn literal.
Yeah, I love it. So tell us about it.
It's just, I've always said this. I wish I had 8 arms so I could do all the things that I want to do simultaneously. So
yes,
right, caring for plants, taking care of myself, painting. Pretty darn literal.
Yeah, and like one arm can just always be painting, just all the time.
A couple of arms are relaxing too. You see that?
See, you're smart. I love it. You're not putting it at capacity. You're keeping it moving. That's
always
cool.
pick to learn.
I love it. All right, I'm gonna go in the upper right-hand corner here with trying to read the cursor. Alkemy Studio. That would be. Is it Trevor?
That's Trevor.
All right. So did anything come up for you with regards to the prompt, or did you go in a different direction, or?
Probably a really old guy. That's it. That's my superpower. So I'm on my way.
To be a what? To be a what guy?
An old man.
But a really cool old man.
Yeah. No, I just drew what usually I tend to draw. I don't know if my microphone's working. So.
Oh, we can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. I tend to draw what I know when I do stuff like this because it makes me a little nervous. So I always draw old guys or like Peaky Blinders style stuff.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
That's just the first thing that came to mind. That's it. No superpower.
Yeah. No, and no problem with that. Yeah. No. Was somebody in one of the other streams brought up the idea of like comfort drawings, right? Like the things that you're really familiar with that when you get to draw it, you're just like, yeah, I'm just going to be in the zone on this for a while.
Yeah. I tend to never draw digitally. I work my job digitally.
Yeah.
But when I'm drawing, I'm always drawing on paper. I don't draw on Photoshop.
And when it comes to sketching, especially, that's something I really want to get back to is just crack open my sketchbook. Been hearing some awesome things from artists who do spend time in their sketchbooks, and they're like, don't treat it so sacred that you can't make, can't make a mistake in your sketchbook,
And also I think that how you approach your sketchbook, you should make a promise to yourself that you're never going to show it to anybody. Because I think a lot of times people, they look at sketchbooks and it kind of becomes this game where they do these finished beautiful works of art and say, yeah, this is my sketch, man.
Right. Yeah.
And the sketch is, it's a place to work. It's a place to be absolutely unguarded and to really think. And so if you make that assumption ahead of time that nobody's ever going to see this, you're probably going to do things very differently than if it's for public consumption.
I think that's great advice, Craig.
Yeah. And especially in an age of social media too, it's like we're losing that kind of sacred space for ourselves of just like, this is just for me. Like, this isn't my Instagram feed. This isn't for the public. This is just for me. Yeah. All right. I'm going to keep rolling here. I'm going to come down to the dino. Looks like somebody's riding a dinosaur perhaps in the lower right-hand corner.
Yeah.
Is that Wendy? Or is that your cursor right there? Hi,
Yeah. I actually imagine that I can go back in time and get a pet dinosaur.
I love it. So
we
is the
can have
superpower
fun.
that you can time travel, or that you have a pet dinosaur, or a
I
little bit of
can
both?
time travel to get a dinosaur.
I love
just
it.
the dinosaur.
And it looks like you guys are a real team too. Like, I'm looking at the expression on his face, and he's like, "Okay, we'll do this."
Yay!
That's great. And then let's see here. I'm actually gonna start following the cursors as opposed to the art. I'm just gonna go find you guys. All right, so I think we've got Ivan down here towards the bottom. Or did that disappear? I don't recognize him. Is Ivan Geraldo somebody that's on the Zoom call with us?
I'm seeing that pigeon, but I
Yeah.
don't see. I don't know if they're answering you.
Maybe they're a friend of Chinchilla. All right, I'll keep moving. Hijung, right down here. This looks really cool. What are you working on?
So if I can get a superpower, I want to make my personal bubble with like water, something refreshing, like clear air maybe, and or maybe like you can breathe in the water, like especially since like I'm in the part where you can smell the fire today, so this is like the first thing that comes into my mind.
Yeah.
Like I want a personal bubble that creates clear air.
That sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
How many people here are in smoke today of the I am.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I know I am as well.
Smoky here.
Not as bad as some people, but there's a bit down here.
It got really yellow today.
Yeah.
It was okay the other days, but it's really yellow today.
Yeah, I think that's a great superpower for right now. I can't even
Yeah.
open my windows, and I'm far away. I'm down in Pasadena, in the San Gabriel Valley, and still, like, they say the air quality for us is not good.
Yeah. I'm actually near Pasadena too. I'm in La Crescenta.
Oh yeah.
And our air quality is really bad today. Like it's been getting worse. I don't know why. Because we are pretty far from the fire too, but we somehow get the dirty air.
Well, we're also getting a lot of smoke in the upper atmosphere as well from the fires up
ashes.
north. It's just a really rough time with regards to that right now.
Yeah, I hope everybody's safe.
Yeah. All right, so we've only got, well, a little bit less than 10 minutes, just so I can kind of make some room for the folks coming in for Concept Art Awards this evening. But let's see. We've got Laurel down here in the lower left-hand corner, and we've got another dinosaur.
Yes, I think Wendy and I are aware of the same mind. So that's sort of me underneath the dinosaur's chin with my binoculars. I don't think I needed I don't think I need one for a pet because I think I probably wouldn't have a big enough backyard to hold it. But definitely taking back pictures. This is a Lambeosaurus.
Nice.
Just for anybody who's interested.
And then I think Natalie, are you right next to Laurel right here?
Oh, that's me.
The cat and I believe a witch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I thought the superpowers is like superhero, and then
Nice.
I thought my favorite superheroes are always like witches and people who can fly. So also I just started drawing that cat, so it went with the cat.
Yes.
And also probably I have clear air on the mind, like a nice blue sky. I haven't seen a nice blue sky in I think 5 days maybe now, 5, 6, I don't know. It's been a while, so I think I have blue skies on the mind.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. The cat has a little bit of a Kiki vibe.
Yeah, I think maybe that's how I thought of like a wish.
Yeah.
I like any if I could have a superpower, I guess I'd talk to animals and fly through the skies and
Awesome.
do that kind of stuff. So that's what came to mind for me.
You could deliver your art that way, or set up
Yeah.
appointments with your clients.
Sure, that'd be fun.
All right. Let's see. Tidewan, I don't think we got to you yet.
Yeah, I'm doing like a superpower pump. So my stepdad, I just want like all the cats to like me a bit more because most of them usually run away when they see me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And she looks really happy.
That's awesome.
Cool.
Craig, are you gonna get on a higher layer than me?
No.
All right. Hey, Limei.
I had to take the chance while I had a lifetime chance.
Yeah,
Limei, yours is really interesting here. Can you tell us about it?
yeah, I think it's more like the thing I really want to have right now. It's the teleport door that Doraemon has. I just wanna can teleport anywhere without going to the airport right now.
Nice.
Avoid the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think someone drew this little cute and creepy alien next to my joy.
It feels like an alien's about to throw a surprise birthday party for you.
Yeah. So I'm probably going to change the window to a warning sign.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Where are we at here? I think did we do everybody? Wendy, did we already find you?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because it's I've just got a few more minutes before I need to wrap, which is sad because I could hang out with you guys like this all day. This is so fun.
Yeah, I actually thought it was going to be a little bit more, I don't know, scary than this, but then I just kind of forgot. And it's actually really good. I can't wait to get to more artists.
One of the best pieces of advice I ever got was from someone who just said, look, when you come to a blank canvas and you feel intimidated, just start making some marks. And as soon as you get into that playful space and you're a kid again, it's like everything's out the window. Love it.
My in-laws are fundamentalist religious types. I won't say what religion.
Mm-hmm.
And when they heard that I drew and painted naked women, they didn't like it.
Oh.
And I was completely blown away, but still, 20 years later, they're still like, look at me with slitted eyes, like, yeah, that's where you're going, huh?
Well,
and it's kind of like, well, yes, she's naked, but 5 seconds after she's naked, she becomes an abstraction of shapes. And they say, yeah, right.
Yep. No, well, I mean, come on. Like, are you going to say that to all the masters too? I mean, talking Michelangelo and all these guys.
Artists are suspect for many reasons.
Yeah, it's true, unfortunately, but that's why we have to flock together.
Shifty artists.
Well, guys, again, it has been such a delight to host you. I've been so happy to have you here, to spend the afternoon with you, and thanks for giving up your time just to come out and hang and have a good time together.
Thanks for having
me.
Thank you, Adam, for hosting, and thank you, everybody. It was very nice meeting you.
Yeah,
likewise.
Nice meeting everyone.
And so for everybody in the chat, thanks for taking some time with us. Don't go anywhere because the Concept Art Awards will be right here on this channel starting at 6 o'clock, which is why we're signing off a little bit early right now. My name is Adam Hartel. I'm a Gnomon representative, and I 100% love my job because I get to hang out with all these guys today. And so please stay on this weekend for the rest of LightBox Expo online. Please head over to check out Gnomon. I see that one of our moderators just put a link in the chat if you want to reach out to us. And we're also running we wanted to offer a discount for people from LightBox. If you want to take an individual class at Gnomon, you can enter the discount code LightBox when you register, and they'll give you a 20% discount on a class with us. So enjoy the rest of the weekend, everybody. Stay safe. Guys, all the artists here, thanks again. I hope we have a chance to run into each other again, either in the real world or in cyberspace. This was super fun.
Hey, it was great painting with everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for everyone who joined the painting and everyone who joined watching today.
Bye-bye, everybody.